terrible. My face looks terrible. This is wow. All right, here we go. There we go. This is Let Us Interrupt You here on Thursday, May 25th, 2023. I am Joseph Olivo. It's Mr. Olivo's show now going forward. Obviously, you all know by the title of the thing of Let Mr. Olivo Interrupt You. I am keeping the Let Us Interrupt You logo as is. I have been had permission from YouTube to keep the thing, although it's my creation anyway, so they can flag it if they don't like it. Um, in reality, this podcast has been doing somewhat better since cut dead weight out. But anyway, this has been a rough week for me. As far as trying to do this podcast this week, I tried doing it yesterday at Brood Awakenings. Instead of trying to get a spot outside, which was a beautiful day out yesterday, just like it is today, I got stuck dealing with the fact that somebody was modeling outside of Brood Awakenings, live streaming their crap right next to my laptop. Well, I was gonna go right sitting next to them anyway, but I didn't want it. But I had a photographer tell me not to even bother. It was one of those things where it's like I wasn't gonna win, even though I reserved that spot earlier in the day. It was rented out, I guess. Apparently, they told me to come back after closing. I tried to go back there, and it ended up being another person who was modeling outside of the place, and I'm pretty sure the person worked there too. Um, Not sure what happened yesterday at Brood Awakenings. When I peeked through to talk to her, I talked to some employees from there. Nobody was around, and I'm pretty sure that place closed on its own. And I'm pretty sure the person who was live streaming up their laptop and the photographer that was there with them probably worked. They probably lied about working there, but they did. They didn't want me to, report them for modeling outside of business hours when there was nobody around. Now, granted, there was nobody around. There was nobody inside. There was nobody outside. It was just those two girls. It's just at the end of the day, when I watched that play out and I couldn't even do my podcast, I was already steamed at that point. I have a bad cold, so unfortunately, I can't really do the thing I plan on doing this week. But I will give you some NBA playoff coverage to start off with anyway. Um, just again, this week's been, like I said before, been terrible. I was supposed to do the podcast Monday and Wednesday. You're still going to get Friday, Saturday episodes, of course. Everything now is going to be pushed back now that I had planned out to talk about on the show. Pushed back. I will bring up LeBron James' retirement. It's the title episode is LeBron versus Father Time. I had 4 different title options for this whole thing. Some things had to get cut out, unfortunately. Um, I might as well just mention to you now. Justin Verlander said "F you" to ESPN after a victory that he had this past week. I think that was I believe that was Tuesday that happened. So apparently he was telling F ESPN. So I guess there's one person now we don't have to worry about now working for ESPN when he retires. That's number one. Number two, the number two thing on the subject was the NFL stuff, which I was going to push to Friday anyway. It was supposed to be an all-week thing, Monday, Wednesday, and all that, but I decided to push everything into Friday, cover that whole thing Friday for football stuff, and that's pretty much it. But we'll start with the NBA playoffs. And I'll probably get into some baseball later on in the week as well, maybe in the show. Or maybe today, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. Because right now, I don't even know how long I'm going to do this show without my nose starting to drip, without me starting to cough, and without me starting to gag. Because this cold has been kicking my ass this week. I just took some Dayquil just now, max strength, 2 strong tablets that I nearly choked on before getting in the house. Anyway, so enough about my sickness, enough about what's supposed to happen. It's not happening. That's just the way it is. It's kind of the norm here in my life. So LeBron James and the Lakers got eliminated from the playoffs. That was on Monday. LeBron had 40 points. He was debating on whether or not he's going to retire. To me, I think he should. And here's the reason why. At this point, I don't think LeBron James is going to be too happy with playing with his son in 3 years down the road. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think this is going to be leading to an NBA Finals. It's not going to be the Ball brothers versus the James family. Like everybody's been hyping this up now for years. I just think it's not happening, and I think it's what the internet wants, because LeVar Ball is still relevant. Even Alonzo Ball and LeVar don't really get along as much anymore. You still got LiAngelo Ball involved. You still got LaMelo involved, even though LaMelo's never healthy. So to me, that's what they're trying to build it up to. That's why they rushed LeBron James' son to try to go to the NBA anyway, just to get that particular matchup. And if that matchup were to happen now, LeBron would win just by doing all the work, and LeBron James is someone who do absolutely nothing. So it wouldn't prove a damn thing. And 3 years down the road, if the same matchup were to happen again, if Bronny got a little bit better, it would still be about LeBron James. LeBron James would be on top all the time, still the face of the NBA, and Bronny would be in his shadow. So it doesn't matter what the kid would do. It doesn't. And this is why the guy needs to retire. To let his kid make it on his own in the NBA once he's done with college basketball. He needs 2 or 3 years of college basketball to do it. I'm sorry, he does. 1 year in USC is not going to do it. And I've heard today that it was probably possible for a power move here. Today I say, if it was for a power move to get Kyrie Irving to come here, the same guy that he couldn't get along with as his time was running out in Cleveland, and basically Kyrie Irving wanted out of there anyway to get away from LeBron James. Why'd you want somebody to come back that A, does not want to work, B, cries wolf every time something goes wrong in the real world outside of the NBA platform, and C, is a distraction to everybody he plays around with? They couldn't make the playoffs with the Dallas Mavericks. How do you expect this guy to make the playoffs with the LA Lakers? And by the way, an entire staff at this point that relies on Anthony Davis and LeBron James. You remove that freaking piece and make it all about Kyrie and LeBron, and AD is just an afterthought, then that just ruins the whole freaking purpose of the game. It's not like you're going to get the big three because it's not realistic. Kyrie's all about himself. It's not a three-way street with Kyrie. It's one way, and that's it. I don't know why LeBron would want to play that power move or go to retirement, then get out of retirement later on to steal his son's thunder here. To me, I think that's just dumb too. I thought that whole pet press conference to me had me thinking, you know what? Really, it's not about LeBron anymore. It's about his son. His son who needs to make a statement on his own without his father's help. And the difference is at this point is LeVar is trying to do the exact same thing. The difference is he's trying to profit off his kids. LeBron's not. That's the difference. So, I mean, if LeBron does retire, and let's say that he does hypothetically, it'd be interesting. It would be. I think I asked myself like, what would he do next? But besides, politics and stuff like that, and have his own podcast. Because really, that's the only thing he would stay relevant at this point. He would probably take over the podcast that JJ Redick does now, and have JJ Redick work for ESPN or get the Raptors or Suns coaching job. Otherwise, what does LeBron do to keep busy? I mean, he could have his own show on CNN. He could. If he can follow down the Charles Barkley route and have his own show, it'd be interesting. I think realistically, Charles Barkley's got no filter. LeBron and Charles are way different as far as chemistry goes. That wouldn't work out. LeBron's I wouldn't say LeBron's a loose cannon, but LeBron is more about bowing down to other countries to profit off those other countries. If that's something that LeBron wants to profit off of, it's off of countries and other sport teams. That's it. All this woke stuff that other countries do, that Americans want to do, they just use those other countries to make money off of, and they don't care because they're taking their own money. So we're dumb enough to keep profiting towards other countries, and we're going to keep doing that to the end of time because Americans are just too lazy to do things on their own. But enough about my political rant / fact, opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever it is. I'm going off right now. I don't want to sound like Kyrie Irving here. But anyway, the Nuggets, though, as I'm trying to highlight this game right now because I'm trying to get a memory based off this game really. The fact that this game played out the way it played out first of all, shout out to my auntie Judy for getting the matchup right. About that game at the time, it was a perfect send off for LeBron James. Look, listen, he went off having 40 points in this game. He played great. He had 31 points in the first half, the most he's ever had in the first half all season long, I believe. And for him to go out like that against the Nuggets, probably against one of the better teams in the NBA, it's not easy to do. It really isn't. And, they had a lot of fight in them. They really did. I mean, they really took it to them to the very end here. They were up by 15 points. Denver just came back and made it easy for themselves. That's it. That's all there was to it. And And it really came out of that third quarter when they outscored 36-16. LeBron had 40 points in the game. Anthony Davis had 21 points. Reeves had 17. Schroeder had 13 points. Tristan Thompson and Russell Walker didn't do much in the game, which realistically was anybody surprised by that in general. The Joker had 30 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists. Jamal Murray had 25 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists in the game. And Nikola Jokic was the MVP of the series. And I think Jamal Murray and them should have gotten co-MVPs because Jamal Murray did just as much as the Joker did, if not more, to make this a series. I mean, if you're looking at a guy right now who went 0 for 4 last night from 3, granted, he didn't go 0 for 4. He went 10 for 18 in the game. The Joker went 11 for 24 in the game and went 3 from 6 from 3. If anybody deserved that MVP award, it was Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray had back-to-back 37-point games. I'm pretty sure he had 3 30-point games in that series, if I'm not mistaken. And a lot of people thought this was going to be a 6-game series where Denver was going to win in 6. But that wasn't the case. So, I mean, the Lakers try to make this into a shootout and a complete runaway, and Denver just woke up in the second half. That's really what it came down to. And a lot of people are questioning what happens next at this point for LeBron. Does he retire? I kind of look at it like this. And here's how I would look at it. Because I think LeBron James, I'm pretty sure, is a shooting guard / small forward. LeBron's son should play with Kyrie. And Kyrie should be in his shadow. Because Kyrie's not a leader. It's that simple. He can play with the other LeBron. We can play with LeBron Jr. He can. I think playing with his father at this point, to me, he's been there, done that. So there's no point of him going back to it. And I don't think the Lakers want that kind of distraction of that relationship and the turmoil that it had in the end, where Kyrie basically just got yelled at and didn't like it and, went to the principal's office and ratted LeBron out and say, I want out of this team and I want LeBron away from me. So you get another young rebel in Bronny James and you play with him. And if you want to add in Kevin Durant along the way, because KD's not going to stick around in Phoenix anymore, you add him to the mix as well. You got Bronny, Anthony Davis, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. That team wins the championship as far as I'm concerned. And there's no issues with Durant and Irving. They can play together. They've not had an issue once. They actually resolved their issues a lot quicker than LeBron and Kyrie ever did. It took 2 years for LeBron and Kyrie to even speak. So I'm just saying. I mean, you want to get something going right now with LeBron James at this point and his son hooking up together. That's fine and all, but unless you want your kid to be upstaged by your father every time, and this is a guy that's on father time, and he's going out with a bang. See, the difference is that LeBron's going to try to pull a Kobe before he retires. Have a game where he goes off for 60 points in a basketball game. You got to love it. And to me, it would have been nice to see how that would have played out with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It would have been a little bit more interesting. Just going to stick this in my nose. I apologize again. Anyway. I love now how my right nostril's jammed up. Oh. Yep, it's official. My right nostril's completely jammed full of mucus now. That's really how I wanted to start this podcast out. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, LeBron James retiring at this point and, delivering the torch to his son, that's the way to do it. Him playing with his son for an extra 5 years, to me, realistically, he's not making it about his son. He's making it about himself, proving that he can still play into his 40s. And his son can just play with him just because. I mean, because I rule the NBA. And I don't think a lot of people would like that. I mean, LeBron at this point, he did the best he could this year, showed his best effort, and it led to nothing in the end. So that's that. Celtics beat the Heat on Tuesday. That was a 116-99 victory. This series should have ended. Tatum scored 33 points in the game. Butler had 29 points. Tatum had 11 rebounds and 7 assists. It was 3 shy of a triple-double in that game. Game 5 is tonight, back in Boston. Brown had 17 points. Horford had 12. White had 16. Smart had 11. Grant Williams had 14 points off the bench. Brogdon had 2 points. He's actually been playing with a partially torn right, tendon in his right shoulder. So he tore that up, I guess, and he's been playing with it at this point, which you got to give Brogdon some props for that. Brogdon, who can barely shoot as it is, and he's playing with a partially torn right tendon in his right shoulder. That's got to take some guts. That's really got to take some guts at this point. Tonight for Miami, they're going to be without Gabe Vincent, who had 17 points on Tuesday. Struss had 9 points. Adebayo had 10. Butler had a lot of turnovers in this game and a really bad night in general shooting, which is why they really lost this game. I mean, Martin, Zeller, Robinson, and Lowry, they did somewhat more in off the bench, but Miami just had no answers for Boston, especially in that third quarter where they outscored 38-23. As a team overall, 18 for 45 from three. The Celtics were. Miami was 8 for 32, 25%. Miami went a free throw line over almost 30 times, went 23 from 28. And Boston went 12 from 18. They were 66% from the free throw. And this game really turned out to be all about the turnovers. It was 10 turnovers in the game. At one point, Miami only had 2 turnovers entering the third quarter. They had 10 in that third quarter. 10 turnovers. So that's what led to the 116-99 victory. I was for sure thinking that this was going to be the end of that series. Mm-hmm. But as far as what happens now going forward with Boston, do I think they win Game 5 tonight? Would Gabe Vincent out? Probably. I mean, Butler struggling again to close out a Game 5 in a series like that. Butler has never closed a series out in general. So does this feel like a 2004 Red Sox kind of storyline here where they're down 3-0 and they can come back and win the series? I guess. The only difference is you're going to come back at home and try to win it again, which I think Boston could do. That's the only advantage that Boston really has, really. I think they can close out Miami here if they were to go down to a Game 7 in Boston. Absolutely. But I have a hard time believing that Miami can win tonight now without Gabe Vincent. I can't see it. I can't see it happening. So it's not realistic. Florida Panthers got the win, the series sweep in the playoffs as of last night. They got the 4-3 win thanks to Matt Talkic with 4.9 seconds with a game-winning goal. He had 2 goals in the game, by the way, and that 4-3 victory. I knew Florida was going to sweep them when they won the game back at home. I think it was like 2-1. I think it was, and they went into overtime too. Anyway, Talker had a power play goal at one point. I made it 2-0. Paul Stenny got the goal for Carolina. Tavio Travis got the slap shot, and Ryan Lomberg got the goal, make it 3-2. Jasper Fast got the tie up at 3-3, and then late in the game, power play goal once again. Matt Tuck, back-to-back power play goals for him, and Matt Tuck, who I think got the MVP of the series, won the series for the Florida Panthers. They got the win, by the way, and I think I actually remember right about this. They've won 3 straight overtime games. By the way, that hasn't even been brought up either. They won 3 straight overtime games. That hasn't happened in quite a long time. I think dating back to the late 90s. I think Panthers did the exact same thing, I'm pretty sure. But this is the first time the Panthers will be going into the Stanley Cup final for the first time in 27 years. The year I was born. I wasn't born in the summer of 96, but that would have been nice. Wait, a nice little interesting tidbit. Too bad my birthday's in November. But I prefer a birthday month in November than getting season allergies in June and being sick on my birthday every year. That would suck. that I would hate. That I would not stand at all. Vegas Golden Knights on Tuesday got the 4-0 shutout, and the game ended abruptly in the second period at first due to fans throwing debris on the ice. Ottinger got pulled late, early in the first period, quickly in the first period. Allowed 3 goals on 4 out of 4 save attempts. And Wedgwood did a little bit better. But this was a game where it really came down to one. I think it was I don't know. Was it Vegas that got the Was it Stone that got the suspension? I think. Yeah, I think it was Stone that got the suspension because he clipped one of the Dallas Star players. I think he got suspended for cross checking him, which wasn't a dirty hit, but that was that. Game 4 of that series is on tonight. I think Vegas gets to win. I don't think it really makes much of a difference here. If Dallas is gonna go out and quit here, which is basically what they did in that game 3, they're not winning game 4. I just don't see it. After the way they were shut out, after the way those fans treated them after the game, that series is done. I mean, there's no fight left in this team, and I think they're gonna put Wedgwood in at the worst time possible. They already gave him their goalie early in that first period that night. I don't see it. It's not realistic. It really isn't. Anyway, probably in this baseball news this week. Scores from last night. I'll get those out of the way. I'll get the ones from Tuesday out of the way as well. I'll start with Tuesday night, considering I missed the show on Wednesday. White Sox beat the Cleveland Guardians Tuesday night 4-2. The Blue Jays smashed the Tampa Bay Rays. This is the reason why I wanted to do this show on Wednesday. Was mainly because of this. 20-1. The Blue Jays beat the Tampa Bay Rays 20-1. Best team in baseball get absolutely smashed. That's a rarity, by the way, for a team that good to get smashed like that. And this kind of tells you how much of a fraudulent Tampa Bay Ray team is, even though with the wins and losses they have. It doesn't matter. They're a fraudulent team. They've had the easiest schedule at this point, the easiest home field advantage within their schedule. I mean, they've had it gone their way. They're more of a home team more than anything else. They're a definite dome team for sure, which is going to come back and bite them because I hate to say it, because now at this point, if 20 runs can happen, and I know what people are thinking, oh, it's a month of the regular season, give the team the time. That's not the point. 20 runs is 20 runs against a team that was in last place in the AL East. That has Vladimir Guerrero Jr. There's nobody else that's going to do a lot of work other than Springer there too. If you would have those two guys in Tampa Bay, you probably would score 20 runs. But this is one of those cases where they allowed 20 runs, and that's a rarity too because there's never been a team that had the best record in baseball to allow that many runs in that one game. Sorry. Which is why I think the Rays' record is kind of fraudulent. And I think this is actually a case where Tampa Bay might actually be one and done in these playoffs 5 months down the road. You want to know why? Because we'll all stem back right to this game because the next team that will do that will either be Texas, a really healthy Yankee team, hot in October, the Astros, possibly the Orioles, anybody in the AL East, really. You want to put Toronto back in that list, go right ahead. But that's the real case here. Yankees beat the Orioles 6-5. Dodgers beat the Braves 8-1. Padres beat the Nationals 7-4. Giants beat the Minnesota Twins 4-3. Cubs beat the Mets 7-2. The Angels shut out the Red Sox 4-0. Mariners beat the A's 3-2. Rangers beat the Pittsburgh Pirates 6-1. They're now 30-18. St. Louis Cardinals are 8-5 over the Reds. They're now 22-28. Royals beat the Tigers 4-1. The Brewers beat the Houston Astros 6-0, and the Rockies beat the Marlins 5-4. So that was Tuesday's. That was Tuesday's box score from last night. This is the box score from yesterday. Trey Turner, who admitted that he was struggling as bad yesterday and did terrible to start out the year, did not start on a good note this year for the Philadelphia Phillies of that big, massive contract that he got. Got the game-winning run yesterday in a 6-5 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks. And they now dropped to 29-21. So they're not that far behind the Dodgers. White Sox shot out the Guardians 6-0. Twins beat the Giants 7-1. Rays beat the Toronto Blue Jays 7-3. The Orioles beat the Yankees 9-6. Nationals beat the Padres 5-3. Braves beat the Dodgers 4-3. The Cubs beat the Mets 4-2. The Angels beat the Red Sox 7-3. And they, by the way, swept the Red Sox yesterday. So there you go. They're 26-24. They're back in last place. The Mariners beat the A's 6-1. The A's, by the way, I wanted to mention this, have now got the official location out. So Nevada and them agreed on a relocation right now, having a team in Las Vegas. There's more to that story. I'll get more on that on Friday, which I might as well just bring it up now at this point, shouldn't I? They brought up that they got the location they want at this point, and they're deciding right now on how much money taxpayers are going to be paying into this possible building of a stadium out in the desert. So, I mean, it makes it interesting at this point. And for the Mariners, by the way, I wanted to bring this up. Raul Ibanez and another former, and Harold Reynolds will be features as All-Star managers this year because the All-Star game will be happen to be in Seattle this year, which makes things interesting. So that's good. I mean, you got some Seattle legends there. Raul Ibanez, well known in Seattle. So was Reynolds. They were both great players. You know, it makes a little, nostalgia in Seattle. They need some attention, the Mariners. So I say, why not? Rangers beat the Pirates 3-2. I believe that the Rangers in this series swept the Pirates. Not 100% sure on this. That they were 30-18 when the last time I looked at this record. Now they're 31-18. And no, they took 2 out of 3, so I was wrong. So they're still in first place in the AL West. They're a shocking team this year. I really not think they were going to get that start that they did. But there you go. Brewers shot out the Astros 4-0. I believe that was a series win for the Brewers, if I'm not mistaken. They got the 2 shutout victories, and they lost 12-2 on Monday. So they got that series win. Cincinnati Reds beat the St. Louis Cardinals 10-3. The Detroit Tigers beat the Kansas City Royals 6-4, and the Miami Marlins beat the Colorado Rockies 10-2. Marlins are 25-25. And I believe the Marlins, yes, the Marlins got. Oh no, they avoided a sweep. So that's that. That was last night, and unfortunately, I got to bring this up about the Red Sox at this point because I had to rant about this team. You just got off of beating the San Diego Padres 2 out of 3, right? You just got him. Kluber, who's now a bullpen guy because he's been designated to be a bullpen player because he sucks as a starter at this point. And Kluber is on the end of his career. He's going to retire by the end of this year. So don't worry about that. He won't be back next year. But you come in here in this series and get swept by a Los Angeles Angel team that is incompetent to have a consecutive streak going. It's the same team, by the way, last month. You just took a series winning 2 out of 3. And you show up with this effort, getting shut out twice, I believe at this point. Was that what happened in this series? They got shut out twice in this series. Oh no, they lost 2-1. They lost 4-0. They lost 7-3. They were outscored in this series. Think about this for a minute. 13-4 against a team that really doesn't have a lot of great pitching. So I don't know. I don't know what else to say here. Other scores that happened today: the Rays beat the Blue Jays 6-3. This was today, by the way. I just went through yesterday's scores for you. And the Rays took 3 out of 4, I believe, in that series. The Padres and the Nationals are on right now. That's a 2-1 game. I think that will be an even series by the end of that series. You got White Sox, Tigers. You got the Orioles and the Yankees. That, I believe, the Yankees have the advantage in that series as far as the sweep goes and all that, and what advantage they have at this point. They take 2 out of 3 if they win tonight. So that's good. I'll review that tomorrow. You got Phillies, Braves on later on tonight. You got the Giants and Brewers. They start their series tonight. Their 4-game set is set. You got Mets, Cubs, A's, Mariners, Marlins, and Rockies, by the way. They're on right now. That's a tie 2-2, and that might end up being an even series for the Marlins if they get the win. And the Cardinals beat the Reds 2-1. That was Malakas, I believe, they got the shutout inning today. 7 shutout innings today in the victory today for the Cardinals. So good for him. And they actually avoided losing the series, and that ended up being an even series. So good for them. And that's really much it. That's not really much going on else in baseball here other than that. Friday's agenda, you got Dodgers, Rays. You got Padres, Yankees on tonight or tomorrow night. You got Reds, Cubs starting out their series. The Mets and Cubs are finishing up their series tonight. You got White Sox, Tigers. St. Louis Cardinals, Cleveland Guardians. Phillies, Braves. Giants, Brewers again. That's game 2 of their series. Mets, Rockies start their game 1 of their series. That's Scherzer on the mound. And who knows? Maybe he'll say F ESPN again. Maybe he'll say F what is it? Fox at this point for not keeping Joe Buck around. I don't know. That's a little tidbit right there. Are not even having Joe Buck broadcast the World Series or baseball. That right there is a crime. The fact that you bring in Joe Buck and you don't even have him broadcasting Major League Baseball, could you imagine how much better ESPN baseball would be at this point? Jesus, what a real missed opportunity there. You got Blue Jays, Twins. You got Marlins, Angels. You got Red Sox, Diamondbacks. That series, I'm going to tell you this right now. The Red Sox take that first game of that series because they have Chris Sale on the mound tomorrow night, but they're not going to take the rest of that series. They're not. Pirates are playing the Mariners. You got the Rangers playing the Orioles. Nationals playing the Royals, and you got the Astros and A's on tomorrow night. Astros sweep the A's, and that's my prediction, and the Pirates sweep the Mariners. That's also my prediction out of this weekend. So as far as Dodgers Rays go, I gotta say this right now. After that 21 defeat there, and the Rays coming back to win 3 out of 4, which was an impressive recovery there. I still think the Dodgers win that series, and I don't know what it is, but I have a funny feeling that the Dodgers are going to take this in the sweep. Because I don't think this team is going to be taken seriously by the National League this year. I don't think they are. So I could see an easy sweep for the Dodgers going into Tampa Bay this weekend. And that's that. I mean, I really have nothing else to talk about for baseball, really. Not really much else I'd love to talk about at all. All the NFL stuff I was going to talk about today, or I should say yesterday, is being moved to tomorrow. So every NFL story is including Damien Arnett's story, which I'll get more into that tomorrow. And actually, before I go, I should recircle back right at this point. So apparently, there's been a rumor going around that Kevin Durant was Lana Rhoades' baby daddy. Then it was Blake Griffin, and I have a good authority that apparently now it's neither one of those guys. It's Bruce Brown, who was a former Brooklyn Net, who apparently was seeing Lana Rhoades at the time. Apparently, this is according to the flight flight with Mike. I could probably actually find that audio right now, actually, if I can actually pull up really quickly here. But I will put him in there on my description right now so I won't get copyrighted by Instagram here. But yeah, so this is what I was told here when watching this video, because when I first heard this, I couldn't believe it. But this is the story here, which I wish I could find. Here it is. Here you go. Here's a video.
Truly.
Hold on. Here it is.
Bruce Brown, truly Lana Rhoades' baby daddy? A year and a half ago, Lana Rhoades said that she went on a date with the Brooklyn Nets basketball player.
We went to a basketball game. So after the game, I went on a date, but something super interesting happened to me.
Originally, we thought that the basketball player was Kevin Durant. Once Lana Rhoades got pregnant and had her child, this picture went viral. But no, ladies and gentlemen, it's not Kevin Durant, and it sure as hell isn't Blake Griffin. Lana Rhoades posted this picture onto her Instagram story a few days ago. A human being that is no longer a member of the Brooklyn Nets, Bruce Brown. There's also receipts of her flirting with Bruce Brown on his Instagram lives. So is Bruce...
So it could be Bruce Brown's baby. Good right there. I gotta give Bruce Brown some props here. Gotta respect him for it. And apparently he's been flirting with her at the time. Look, I like hearing this story at this point. You know, you finally find out who your baby daddy is at this point. If you're Lana Rhoades, you thought it would be Kevin Durant, you thought it would be Blake Griffin. Although realistically at this point, if she did sleep with those guys, which I don't think she slept with Blake Griffin. Durant, probably. Griffin, no. Bruce Brown, I wouldn't be surprised because realistically, she really doesn't judge who she sleeps with, really. She's not really, she's not like, I mean, and don't get me wrong, she is a porn star. And they judge the size of dicks, they do. Because they've done so many guys with microscopic penises, medium-sized penises, and big penises. So it's understandable at this point. And I know I shouldn't be saying this on this podcast. I know family members of mine are probably going to watch this later on and say, why the fuck are you talking about penises on your podcast? But this is brought up because Bruce Brown and Lana Rhoades, it's not surprising that Lana Rhoades would choose that person, but I'm surprised that it was that person. That's the only thing that really surprised me, really. So, again, you got to give it to Bruce Brown. Good on his part. If he's the father of the baby, it's awesome. We'll see what happens. I have a funny feeling this might turn into a Maury episode at this point with all basketball players and the porn star. Talk about giving good ratings for that one show that hasn't had great ratings in such a long freaking time, unless you're watching on YouTube every week. But I mean, it's good. You don't hear a lot of this often, Lee.
Brown, truly Lana Rhoades' baby daddy?
We'll find out soon enough. But anyway, anyway. We also got some where the "I'm the him" came from for Jimmy Butler, the Himmy. Here's that story. That also came from Flight Mike. Here it is.
Insane Jimmy Butler story of all time. Jimmy Butler was disgruntled with the Minnesota Timberwolves, and there were rumors that he wanted to be traded, but the Timberwolves were refusing to trade Jimmy Butler. Well, one of his ex-teammates, Jeff Teague, finally gave us the whole story.
Jimmy decides to show up. We start training camp. Tibbs said, we're going to scrimmage. Jimmy hop up. I'm playing. Starters. Jeff, Jimmy, Wig. Jimmy said, I ain't playing with them. Jimmy said, I'm playing with them. He picked the bad news bears. They was good players, but they wasn't making the team. We throw it to Cat first play. Jimmy still it. Boy, they going this 10-0. They win. They beat us like 18-6. Jimmy started talking to the GM. Everybody in the gym. Y'all think that team can win without me? I'm him. Pay me. Jimmy just marched to the locker room. We all run the locker room like, Jimmy, bring your ass back out. We want to play again. Jimmy gone. We go in the locker room. ESPN pop up. Rachel Nichols and Jimmy Butler on TV.
You return to practice, targeting teammates like Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins.
A lot of it's true. I can't make this up, bro.
This is by far the most.
I can believe it. You know, it doesn't surprise me because Butler was not happy in Minnesota. He wasn't, and I could tell he did not want to go there. He had the puss face on, saying, "I don't know why I'm with this team." You know, I can't win with this team, and they think they can win without me. Since that trade happened, the Timberwolves have not advanced to the first round. As a matter of fact, the Timberwolves, even with him around, didn't ever advance to the first round because Karl Anthony Towns always choked in the playoffs. Case in point. So anyway. That's that. And there was also another clip here for John Morant here. So here it is.
There was a worse pair to select in an NFL draft ever. Damon Arnett would join the Las Vegas Raiders, a player that was considered to have no character issues at all whatsoever, randomly decided to post this video onto his social media. So as a result of this, the Las Vegas Raiders would cut Damon Arnett. 9 days after signing with the Kansas City Chiefs, Damon Arnett was arrested in Las Vegas on charges of assault with a deadly weapon, carrying a concealed weapon without a permit, and 2 counts of possession of controlled substances. The good news is, I guess there's no criminal charges that would be filed, but the bad news is, on the very same day, Damon Arnett would get into more trouble with the cops. He would get pulled over, and they would find out that Damon Arnett had a suspended license. Police would release him, but hours later, once again, Damon Arnett would get pulled over for driving the same freaking vehicle. And man, I don't think there.
So that was the Damon Arnett story. I gave you a little spoiler to what would happen tomorrow. By the way, he's pleading not guilty to 2 counts of felony charges. He could face up to 10 years in prison. And to all his actions right now at this point, and I'm just going to finish with this at this point because I don't think I'm going to restart this again tomorrow. Damon Arnett should get 10 years in prison. The guy is too stupid to stay out of jail. And by hearing what I just played here from Flight with Mike, I'll give credit to the guy. He does great content for his podcast and through YouTube and Instagram. It's awesome. How this guy doesn't stop doing what he's doing here and he keeps getting himself in freaking trouble, Arnett, is beyond me. John Morant, by the way, has now created, or at this point, John Morant is David Arnett in disguise at this point as an NBA player. He is getting caught again with a gun twice. This guy may as well get cut by the Grizzlies and screwed out of the NFL and screwed out of the NBA. They probably blackballed at this point if he gets thrown in jail too, Morant. Morant's one step away from getting thrown in jail. He's lucky that teenager didn't press any charges and get Morant arrested. But Arnett's too late for him. He's gonna get 10 years in prison, and he's gonna be out of the NFL, just like Henry Ruggs III is. They'll be cellmates together. Let's put it that way. That's my prediction. You heard it here first here, and let us interrupt you, aka let Mr. Olivo interrupt you. As Mr. Olivo signs off. You know the social media. I'm not gonna go through it because right now I gotta go blow my nose and eat some soup and take some cough medicine. Bye guys. I'm out.